Take it away, listening.
All right.
Take it away.
So when it comes to now, how we currently view it, right? How our generation views it. We grew up in the time of, for those who are a little bit older, Tumblr. Right now it's very much Pinterest. We had lookbooks, especially like on YouTube. I feel like that was a big thing.
There was this
Thrift hauls. Oh,
Remember that
Polivore?
app? Yeah.
You can make outfits.
Those girlies, those One Direction girlies were making outfits of my date with Harry, my date with
Oh
Liam,
my
going
God.
to the moon. I was one of those bitches.
Yeah, I know you were. You had an account.
I had an account, guys. We'll never share what it
I
was.
was going.
No, about like Tumblr. What? It's
Has
embarrassing.
nothing to do with thrifting.
Yeah, thrifting your style. Okay,
Yeah.
anyways, go.
Okay, so when it comes to that, I feel like how Natalie was saying, the internet is very much a big thing about it.
Yeah.
And you can get inspired.
Going on a date.
Whatever inspires you, whatever floats your boat, you scroll
Going on a
through
boat
these
with Harry.
platforms. Shut the fuck up. I can't even. Oh my god. The thing is, folks, she's serious about this. She wants us to make it into the podcast. I'm really trying to be professional right now. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Cut
We're
the
talking
show.
about
Cut the show.
Cut the show.
Just
This
kidding.
is gold material.
It's called,
This
just
is what the
kidding,
people
just
wanted to
kidding.
listen. I'm just kidding.
All right, let's see.
If you wanted to.
Okay, so obviously thrifting has redefined the game, right? How is this new generation kind of taking it and making it its own? Obviously, we had Tumblr. We had people like Tavi Gavinson start like the Style Rookie, right? Now she's like an actress, but obviously like when she first started, she lived, I forgot where, but it was like in the middle of like USA, where you really like don't have like anything besides, like the mall or things like that.
Yeah.
So what she would do is she would thrift, and she would get inspired by all of these magazines. Thrift, started her own blog, and she was like a teenager, and basically like the fashion community adopted her. Like she really became a fashion icon for that time. I remember her spread in Nylon magazine. I was so excited about that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was
Which
taking
we get back to.
yeah.
Appreciating the fashionistas out there that putting the hard work, getting recognized, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go.
You know how I feel right now if you're an older sibling.
Yeah, me callo.
You just like
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with us. I can't even form a sentence because I'm like, what's
Actually, don't
the
disappear.
next
I'm
thing?
still here.
What's the next thing that's gonna come out of her mouth?
Okay.
Okay, so we have people like Tavi Gavinson, literally started her blog, who did the Style Rookie, who took basically thrifted clothes, made it her own, and she became a fashion icon. That was also like on Tumblr and stuff like that. And then you have people like Emma Chamberlain, who literally would do thrift hauls, right?
Love
Like
this girl.
she did that, and now she's literally like at the Met
Met
Gala.
Gala.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
Freaking Anna Wintour is always calling her up. Yo, Emma,
Emma,
what you doing?
yo, Emma,
We need you on the red
you're
carpet.
on the red carpet, babes. Like that's the thing. But we also had people like, I don't know if you guys remember Best Dressed. Her name was Ashley. She would also do these thrifting videos. And so there's a lot of people online who are doing this. We also have B. Jones. She shows you kind of like things in vogue right now on the runway, how it gets inspired by them, and she'll go through the thrift store and find pieces that almost replicate these looks.
And when you
so
look at it,
interesting.
when you look at it first glance, you're just like, but like I don't know how it is, how her mind works, but she's like, you might think of it like, but she's like, oh, you do this,
and it
and
looks
that's the
so
outfit.
good. She'll put a whole outfit, and you're just like, oh, this works.
This works.
And then she'll show you her influence, and you're like, no, I see that. Like, yes, this is giving Rodarte. Yes, this is giving
Versace,
Gucci.
whatever.
Yeah. So
Grandpa Core.
you have people like that, but you also have people who are designers who will take basically thrifted items or thrifted garments, thrifted fabrics, and turn them into something completely new.
Yes.
But the person we want to talk to today...
Which we'll move on to this next segment.
Yes, we got to interview Scarlett, which we were so excited. I was so nervous.
We were nervous.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I think the camera was pointed, like, at...
Well, okay, it was pointed to both of us, but the thing that Leslie has when we're in an interview with other people...
Nervous.
Okay, so
I don't pay attention.
The screen gets split, so you can't see... You see me mostly... Like, you see both of us, but mostly my side.
Yeah.
So Leslie thinks is that either she's not in camera or she is.
I don't really pay attention to the camera
because steps out.
So
it's like this.
Yeah, but my thing is, like, I don't mean to do that. I just feel like it's very much like I'm so in the moment with the interview that I don't pay attention to where I'm at or where my mark is. So that's
anyways. So don't worry, guys.
Anyways,
our little camera I set up to make sure to get that. So if you get different angles,
if you're watching the YouTube,
you will see Scarlett's version of it being straight, but then you will see Leslie of us like on the side, like, which is like weird. It's giving interview, you know.
It's
like,
giving, we're upgrading. Yeah.
But because of this girl.
Yeah.
She be zoning out sometimes of like, hey, we're on an interview, get back in the frame. Like I had to like, I don't know if you see sometimes, I'm like, I had to like pull her, like, it, like
she'll like tap me.
Or I'm like telling her like, hey, like, you forgot about this topic, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
With my fingers.
It has nothing to do.
Nothing to do it.
I'm so sorry about this, Scarlett. We want to introduce
Scarlett.
Miss Scarlett.
Who is?
From AFRAYED UPCYCLING. Sorry. So we want to introduce Miss Scarlett from AFRAYED UPCYCLING. She is amazing. And we were so inspired by her vlogs and her TikToks where she takes tea towels.
Damn dog.
She takes thrifted tea towels.
Damn dogs.
You could hear the fucking dog. She takes vintage. These fucking dogs.
No bunches.
If it starts, now I start talking. She takes tea towels that are thrifted.
Oh.
She takes tea towels that are thrifted and she designs dresses. And she's also started doing like purses too, which is very exciting. Anyways, we'll let her talk a little bit more about it.
We're both nervous. This is the thing, guys.
Preface,
Me and Leslie are nervous. She's also nervous herself. It looks awkward, but when we emailed each other, like, after, when we're like, oh, like, thank you so much for being on it. Like, hey, like, I'm so sorry that it might have felt or looked awkward. Like, we were just so nervous to, like, officially meet you, especially since, like, this is someone that we've watched on YouTube.
Yeah.
That we're getting to interview. We have the opportunity to interview. And she emailed back. She's like, "No, I was nervous as well." So it's like, oh, okay. So that's like,
so you'll get the vibes. You'll get the vibes going. But yes, we're so excited to have Scarlett with us on this episode.
Tonight.
Yeah, we'll let her kind of talk a little bit more about it.
And her.
Hope you enjoy this interview. Hi, Scarlett. Thank you so much for being here with us and for doing the interview. We're like huge fans. I love watching your YouTube videos. Your vlogs are like so great. But yeah, for our audience, do you want to like share like a little bit about like what you do and like what your brand is about?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my name is Scarlett and I take secondhand textiles and sometimes tea towels and make unique, size inclusive clothing and accessories. And yeah, I'm very lucky to be doing it as my full-time job.
It's like so amazing. I love that.
With you and your brand, how would you define your style or your current style, like influence it? Like if it's like incorporated with like the both?
Yeah, like your work.
Your work and yourself,
Yeah. You know, I always find that question really hard because I'm so indecisive, so I don't really know what my style is. It's just pretty much whatever I can find, just mashed together.
Yeah.
I would say maximalist is probably the main word, but I feel very inspired by people who just dress for themselves, people who don't really follow the trends and just go with things that they like because they like the colour or the fabric or whatever. So those are like my main influences and what I do. But yeah, I find it really hard to put a label on what style I am, because I try and cater to a lot of people. If it's the goths, if it's the very like bright coloured people, it's just a merge.
Yeah, I also saw that like in one of your recent vlogs, you were talking about like Art Nouveau and kind of getting inspired by that too, which I think is also like really like fun and unique. Yeah.
Yeah. My style has changed. It changes all the time. It's constant. Different decades, different parts of the decades. It's just, I don't even know.
It's like a little bit of everything, you know, especially with all the trends coming up. You're like, I want to taste it a little bit. Yeah.
It's like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Like that and like that.
And you're like, we're going to mash it together. I love that. How do you go from like finding, you know, like the tea towels and like the fabrics, like, and then kind of designing the piece? Like, what is your process like, you know, through like designing?
Yeah, I mean, for the tea towel dresses and things like that, it's quite simple. It's just find the tea towel and then kind of gauge what like vibe it is, sort of like the colors that are in the tea towel, and then I just go through my stash, which is massive, and then just find fabrics that like fall off the shelves and just fall onto the piece. So I'm quite lucky that it's quite easy for me. But then when it comes to like making stuff for myself, I like love draping, which is weird because it's like not something that I do in my own like business, but I just take the little elements that I like and then just whack it on a mannequin and then hope for the best. So yeah.
I love that. So like for like the pieces that you sell, it's more like pattern based, right? But then more for like for your own, I love that. Yeah. I feel like that's also nice to know that you have like two styles of like the way you design that kind of go behind it, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sort of fall out of love with sewing because they do it full time, but if I can do the things I like for myself along with the stuff, obviously I absolutely love what I do full time, but like to have a bit more creative freedom with the things that I make for myself, it's a good balance at the minute.
Almost like re-inspiring yourself again, like through everything. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
What are like the best tips that you could give to someone like for thrifting, for like either it be like for the cute little tea towels that you do or just fabrics in itself?
Yeah, for like tea towels, I mean, you can get anything on a tea towel, any animal, any flower, anything. So, I mean, for when I look for something really specific, I just choose something that I love. So, like cats, I love cats, and I have loads of cat tea towels. So just whack that into a search engine, and you'll find loads of things with cat tea towels. But then with fabrics, I mean, I'm quite lucky that my explore page is quite tailored for what I like. But if there's like a certain fabric that you come across and you see the brand or the sort of era that it's in, then just get your notes down and then just search that way. That's the best thing I can suggest. Yeah.
And then what like new projects do you have working on, or like are you working on a new collection or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a tea towel design drop happening on the 13th, which is next week. But I mean, I'm still learning to pattern cut myself. So currently I get everything done by a grader. So this is something that I would like to do, to then release more patterns and more DIY upcycle part, because I really enjoy that part and I like that I could hopefully inspire people who upcycle. So I'm definitely leaning towards the more upcycling for other people kind of route. So it's a slow process, but I'm getting there.
I feel like also like I think because you were saying how you kind of do everything yourself, right? So it's kind of like a one woman show and you're kind of like trying to do as much as you can, which is like so cool to see.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm doing it and it's good. It's going.
Yeah. Get some small business friends and you can all just talk about it
together.
But it's pretty fun. It is hard.
I love that. Yeah. And then where can our like listeners like kind of keep up with you, to kind of keep up with like the drop and any like new things that you're working on?
social media, so Instagram and TikTok is Afraid Upcycling, and YouTube, it's all the same, just Afraid Upcycling.
I love that. I'm like, we'll put all the links everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show them too.
Thank you.
Yeah. And ourselves will always follow you and be looking at your videos. We're like your fans and everything. Yeah.
I know. we were like really nervous kind of going into the interview, and I was like, I can't believe it. She said yes.
It was so nice meeting you, Scarlett. Thank you for coming on with us and chatting with us as well.
I know. You're like on the other side of the world, but thank you.
I know, my play's ending and yours is starting.
Yeah.
We're like a good in between to see what time for both of us. Yeah.
I know, we were trying to figure it out, and I was like, I think this would be okay because it's kind of like in the middle. It's not too late, not too early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
I'm with the camera. All right, so bringing it to the idea of how it's being portrayed on the runway with these designers, right? I feel like
keeping the meaning of what thrifting
means. So a lot of these things are upcycling, right? Which Natalie will put the definition of what upcycling means, because there are different terms when it comes to sustainable fashion. And so upcycled collections, we have a pioneer who, she's always been an activist for sustainability, and it's Stella McCartney.
Yes.
Oh, her dad is the guy from the Beatles. Yes, he is, if you didn't know. But besides her, you know, she's one of my favorite Nepo babies.
Yeah.
She's well-deserved as a designer and respected. She's known for her sustainable practices. She really incorporates upcycled materials and vintage textiles into all of her collections. And she really designs it, really reclaiming these fabrics and promoting eco-friendly. And it's very innovative, I think, because for someone in that luxury space, that was something that wasn't really like valued or looked upon when she first started doing it. So I think it's really nice that she kind of paved the way for that. Another upcycled designer, we have Christopher Rayburn. He utilizes surplus military fabrics. So it's more heavy duty, and it's stuff like parachutes and like really thick, sturdy materials. And for his runway showcase, it's kind of nice because he also incorporates a lot of outerwear and accessories, which makes sense with the types of materials that he's using. So I feel like those are two major designers right now where you see it throughout their whole collection and kind of the philosophy that they work with.
Moving into now like the vintage and retro influences, because a lot of these designers get influenced by these type of silhouette garments and fabrics. The first one that we can all think about is Gucci. Gucci has frequently drawn inspiration from vintage and thrifted aesthetics,
which I think is so funny that people did that picture of Harry on the runway with that suit. And they were like, it looks like my grandma's couch. Like, babes, that's the
Gucci.
vibe.
That's what
Gucci
Gucci does.
We're inspired by vintage.
You know, they want to incorporate those nostalgic elements.
But yeah.
So like how we said, the retro prints. We have like embellishments, silhouettes. Into the runway collections, like Leslie explained perfectly of Harry in that suit. I was one of those people that said that was your grandma's couch. Anyways, so this like their approach blends the high fashion with a sense of like nostalgia and individuality.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say another word. I was like,
anyways, so like that's like what it is. Even though like you can be like, okay, but like they be having the Jackie bag, or they be having, but it's like it's authentic.
It's influenced by that.
It's influenced. Like this is a vintage piece that they repurposed in a way, and they brought back to like to what they need now.
Yeah.
And then the other designer brand is, can you please say it for me, because I don't think I'm gonna say it.
Moschino.
Okay, I was gonna say that, but I was like, no, that's wrong. Moschino.
Moschino. Moschino. People have said it very differently. You know who we're talking about. We'll put the name right here.
Moschino. Yeah. Anyways, which is under Jeremy Scott's creative direction. embraced thrifting and his eclectic influence. That too many C's, guys.
Sorry, sometimes I do the notes and I use big words. I'm sorry.
She forgets. She's dealing with me. So we've seen it before occasionally with his bold prints. We can identify Jeremy Scott's designs with his bold prints, with his vintage motifs and like playfulness, like that is incorporated to pop culture references. Yeah, which he has done a lot of collabs with, like celebrities. He's done a lot of collabs with singers. With this, I think one of them was, if I'm not wrong, if that's the same person, with Little Mix. I've also done this. But those are the two brands that still incorporate the vintage retro elements in their design, in their new collections, even if it's a new collection. Like that's something that they always touch on. Yeah.
And they play with, and they get to kind of evolve. So another way that you see it on the runway, you see it in the fashion world. We have designers who are using fabrics, who are using innovative technology to kind of help with dyes and the whole process of things to make it sustainable. You also have designers who are influenced by retro styles, retro fabrics, or vintage fabrics. You also have a lot of independent designers who are using thrifted materials or who are repurposing items. So you have those. But another way is we have the sustainable fashion initiatives, right? So during Fashion Week, various cities, designers, and brands, they all kind of participate in this movement, and they include upcycled or vintage pieces into their collections. Or even there's people who, they get photographed for their street style, and they'll dress in thrifted items to go to these shows or to be seen and taking, the pictures, basically. And so I think just having this idea that thrifting can not only be a thing of artistry, but it's also this thing of like, it's a movement for a better world and for sustainability. I think it's really nice to merge those two together.
Highlighting like the important, like what thrifting, how it started,
how it's evolved,
and how it's evolved to what it is now.
Because it used to be something that was maybe shameful or you looked down on, and it's evolved into something kind of beautiful, and it's kind of been like, you kind of, I don't know, you take initiative into like, no, I'm doing something, I'm creating something, and we're paving the way for something new and something better. This was a really fun episode to talk about and to do. I do feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because I don't have any of my thrifted items.
But you do I feel like out of everyone, I feel like you do. Sorry, guys. I got into the whole sustainability thing because of Leslie. She got into that. And as well, I feel like you're like a conscious like shopper. You only shop pieces that you love, but it's also coming from a brand that is
sustainable. So that's another thing. Actually, I'll take that back. This isn't vintage or this isn't thrifted, but this sweater is made out of, I believe, 90% recycled wool, and it is from Reformation. And they've also used like other initiatives in order to help with the water consumption of them as they like make the sweater. So it is sustainable.
Your baggy dad jeans.
Same goes with my baggy dad jeans.
They're Levi's.
I
know that they're waterless technique.
Yeah, and my Golas, I think, are also pretty. Are they sustainable? I think so, right?
I think they are. Also, because like I feel like thrifting has now evolved to where now not only is the consumerism growing of like that demand, but now people are demanding sustainable practices from brands. And for them not just to show,
I think you're just more consciously aware.
You're more just consciously aware. And you're not like having people just say like, oh yeah, we're green, or hey, we're eco-friendly. Like, no, I want the receipts, babes. Yeah. I want the receipts. And we have brands like Reformation.
I like that you mentioned that, because I was like, I'm such a fraud. Like, I didn't wear anything thrifted. But I think this goes back to my mentality when I shop of like, what items do I want? And it's items that I use all the time. Like these baggy dad jeans, I wear them all the time. My Golas all the time. These sweaters, I'm going to be wearing it for the fall. So it's true. I think it also has to do with the consciousness of the consumer.
And now they're demanding that. They're demanding the sustainable practices. They're demanding that we know the whole footprint of the process of designing just a single garment. where it started, where you got the fabric, where you got the textiles,
how
who
long
did
it
it,
takes to make
how
it.
long it takes it, the amount of water used, the amount of energy used, the amount of, like,
Which
every
I really,
single little detail.
I applaud designers like
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett because they show you the whole process, right? They show you the whole behind the scenes. And they also create something amazing out of, like, something that could have just stayed at the thrift store, like tea towels.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like that's, I mean, Scarlett herself, like, she's willing to tell you where she got the fabric, how she shops for the fabric, where she goes for the fabric, where other people who want to get into the fashion world sometimes fall behind on that.
Yeah.
But for people to come forward and explain to you and tell you where they're coming, you know,
to have
they're
that
going,
truthfulness, that honesty.
they're going through the, like, right direction.
And
of where
I feel like that's why it's
should
important to also support these designers, to definitely go and support them, because, you know,
especially small businesses that practice sustainable things within the beginning of their process to the end, and you know,
are conscious
and conscious. So you know, go out, support these small businesses that are sustainable, brands that do promote themselves as sustainable and give you that footprint. But at the same time, also support those YouTubers, those, like, Instagram influencers that are paving the way for us to now not only rely solely on fast fashion, but going secondhand. And realizing that there's style.
How to style it. Which
It's
I
not
think
hard.
It's beautiful. No, I think
And
it's beautiful.
I feel like everyone has a sense of style. It's just finding your own way.
Developing
and your
it.
own way does not have to be the same as everybody else. It's adding your own spin to it. And that's what
I think it's also another thing about how it doesn't have to be with, like, how much money you have. It could also be like, you thrifted this item and it's like you reworked it, you made it look like this, and you're like, whoa, that, like, people will compliment you on it, and you're like, oh, this was, you know what I'm saying? Like it has nothing to do with money. I think it has everything to do with style. And with innovation, vision, inspiration.
So I feel like if you take anything, it's that is now focusing on, you know,
how to incorporate
all in your life, even like fashion in like furniture upcycling. Like, now we're diving into that, you know, and there's
Facebook
things,
Marketplace,
there's things like that, you know, we should be grateful for. That it started during a hard time for people, but now it's evolved to this where now we're demanding people to,
there's like a sense of normalcy to it,
to know that this isn't a failure if you go secondhand.
No. It could be beautiful.
It could be something
and
beautiful.
You rework it to fit your style. Again, it has nothing to do with the price tag. It has all to do with intention.
What's that song?
Just like this podcast. Low budget, baby.
Me, myself, and Leslie.
And the lights are going out because this is a natural lighting.
Because we were paid by the lights. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so
hit the lights.
Let the music move you and lose yourself tonight. Selena Gomez, I love you.
Another one. Oh my gosh, Only Murders in the Building.
We just watched that episode. Anywho,
I thought you were gonna sing another one. Who else sings a song about lights? You're gonna say Ellie Goulding.
No.
Harry Styles? Okay, sing it, girl. Sing it.
No.
Let's see.
We don't.
You were talking about him. Sing it.
No.
Back it up. How do I know you're a true fan?
You are. He's in like Mexico. He's like,
oh my god.
He's against his
him
body.
shirtless.
Step
into the light.
I remember I sent Leslie a picture and I just sent it to her, and she was like, and I was like, new music
video coming out.
Anyways, so because the lights are gone, so we should end this. Hold my hand. Thank you, Scarlett, for being our guest today. We were thrilled to have you and so excited to meet you. Okay,
Sorry. We were so excited to meet you. Thank you.
So go ahead and we'll link all of her social media down below. Go ahead and give her some love. See her on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram.
Go on her website.
Buy a few of those tea towels if you can. If
dresses,
you love it. Dresses.
Amazing.
All the little things that she does as a small business owner. She does it all herself. So, like, bow down.
She does social media. She does the editing. She does the filming.
She's like Kris Jenner, but for herself.
Yeah, like she's a one-woman. Yeah,
she's a one-woman show.
We love her.
Maybe I shouldn't add that, but I just Anyways, so with that being said, go support her. Go support all the other small businesses and other people.
If you guys are a small business, or even if you guys are starting to do anything with thrifting, definitely link it down below. Add your tag. Add, we'll follow each other.
We're building this community to get to know more talented artists like ourselves and get to.
Not
I feel
to toot
like
our own horn, but we're talented.
to like learn more. Yeah. I feel like every day is a learning lesson of new things and new ideas, new like topics to hit and stuff. So as we are trying to teach you guys a few stuff that we've learned along the way, we want to learn a little bit about yourself and of things that you do. So because the lights are leaving us, we leave you with this beautiful, long, filling episode, and we will see you next week. Love you. Stay fashionable.
I thought you were gonna flip them off. Like, girl, like this.